Hey there, traders, and welcome back for episode number 64 from the StockBandit.tv. It is the place where you can always find trading videos to make you a better trader. That's the aim here. All right, now today we finally saw it happen 3 days in a row on the downside. Whoever would have thought, right? It's been quite a while. Last time we saw 3 consecutive down days was right here back in early March, which is where this market really ignited and just ran for 9 weeks now. And you know, eventually we knew that 3 more down days were going to come, obviously. So we finally saw that today. And you know, now the question is, what happens now? Well, I think if this is something that's really going to develop into a meaningful pullback, as in a multi-week pullback, you know, something with some actual pain for the bulls, then it would be really healthy in the big picture. And whether it starts right now or sometime later, it's still going to happen either way. And when it does, I think a meaningful pullback isn't likely to gravitate to an obvious level. And I think that's going to be simply due to the one-way nature of this move up from the March lows. In fact, 9 straight weeks of rallying really made time for no rest. So, you know, that move really didn't produce any potential support areas down here for if we head back down. Now, in the short term, some levels are more obvious compared to the longer term zones for where we might go. For example, 1665, that was the January high, and that's also essentially where we stopped tonight. We changed, or we finished less than 1 point for that from that level, and that's a level that I pointed out to members at the StockBandit.com each of the last few nights as short-term support. It was resistance back here a few weeks ago, and obviously back then in January. So, but in the longer term, you know, it's much more vague as to how far a correction might carry. But if we do see this short-term dip of the past few days turn into a decent slide, that would be just fine if it does. And then when it does, you know, this market is likely to establish its own brand new support area somewhere down in this region, okay? Obviously, that's not really stepping out on a limb, but since there is no obvious support on the way back up, you know, aside from those March lows themselves right there, and I would not expect to move right back down to those levels, by the way, I do think that it's likely that a new support zone is going to be created. Now, keep in mind that that might take weeks to happen. Now, I'm not referring to a 4 or 5 day pullback here before a new support level is established. What I'm talking about is a short-term change of direction that really starts to remove some confidence from the bulls and starts to add some confidence for the bears. After all, that would result in some money heading back to the sidelines, and that's really going to be required to spark another move higher. It's simply a psychological thing, and that's just how the market works. And if you think about it, when everyone's confident that the market is moving higher, such as during this entire run here, in all likelihood, you know, by the time everyone was real confident of it, and especially when we took out 1665, most people had already acted on that belief through buying. Now, on the other hand, when everyone's scared to death, such as back here in February when this market was selling off so hard, you know, when everyone becomes terrified that the market's going to zero, that's at the time when most of them have already acted and sold, and there's very few or relatively few people left to continue selling and dump shares at that point. So what we need to do is see a little bit of fear return to this market, and that's actually going to take more than just a few days, much more than just a 3-day move down or even a 3% move down like we saw today, which was ugly in itself. But nobody said that we're going to just ride this trend all the way back up to NASDAQ 5,000. You know, the market is usually a pretty bumpy ride in both directions, in spite of the fact we've just seen 2 incredibly clean moves. Generally, it's a pretty bumpy ride, and that's great because for you and me as traders, plenty of opportunities do come along. So do not count out the possibility of a couple of weeks of downside from here. Anything is possible in the current market and in any market for that matter. And especially after a 9-week nonstop run like we've seen, it just might take more than a few days to let some of the air out of the balloon and get some stocks back to levels where buyers are once again truly attracted to step in and start buying. All right, So thanks again for joining me, and I will see you soon with more videos. But until then, trade like a bandit.